Hello, everybody. I am unbelievably excited for this week's live stream. I'm always excited, but this week, extra excited. Hudson is even here, which is amazing. We have got Don here from Don's Family Vacations, and so much has happened this week. We've got good news in the UK. We've got good news for Americans, good news for people in Canada, good news for, I think, everybody apart from people in Australia. Sorry, guys, I haven't got anything good for you. But I'm unbelievably excited. Oh, I can't believe this week. Every single day, something has happened in the cruise news, and it's just crazy. We may actually be able to cruise soon, and I just cannot wait for it. Hello to everybody who is in the chat. We've got people who've been in here for two hours before the chat started. Hello to Marcus and Sean and Lou, who are always in here early. Hello to my mum, who's in here. Oh, God, guys, what a crazy week. I can see Don down there. I don't know if he's ready to join us yet for a chat. He is. He's shaking his head. Let's just get straight on and get Don up here because crazy week. Hello to Don. Come in and say hello to everybody, Don.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm having a fantastic day.
Can I ask you straight away?
Yeah.
The most common question I've got is why does Don say fantastic instead of fantastic at the start of all of his videos?
I can't not say it anymore because if I say fantastic, people go, what? No, I have to say fantastic. But it's actually a speech thing that I've been doing all my life. I've always said words a little different sometimes. I used to say Chicago. It's not Chicago. It's Chicago. All my life. I don't know why, just have. And so I say fantastic. Just something I do. It has something to do with my neighbor. He used to have a van and it was called Fantastic beside us.
Oh, that's cool.
So I think that's kind of where it comes from.
That's the most popular question I've been asked when I've said that I've got Don on my chat. Yeah. And some people have come up with theories about it and everything. People say it's for vacations, stuff like that. But it's just something that's stuck.
It's the name of the van.
I love it. I think that's really cool.
I'm from that era.
Yeah, well, I feel like for the people in the chat who don't know what's happened in the UK, I'll just quickly explain the week, and then I'll let you explain the exciting stuff that's happened over your side, if that's okay. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Because in the UK, we are allowed to cruise from May, and we've been always waiting for the cruise lines to announce what they're going to do. P&O Cruises, who are our biggest cruise line here in the UK, have announced summer cruises. They're not going anywhere. They're cruises to nowhere, and everybody has to be vaccinated on those cruises. They're going on Britannia and Iona, which is very exciting, the newest cruise ship. And Princess have just come out and said they're going to do the same over the summer, also requiring everybody to be vaccinated, which basically means no children. They haven't come out and said no children, but they've said nobody without the vaccine, which is children. Also, MSC have come out and said that they're going to be doing cruises from the UK, but you don't need a vaccine for MSC cruises. And Cunard are doing some too, and Viking. So everything in the UK has just happened this week. And we may actually be cruising from May, which is very soon and very exciting. So what has happened to you today? I've just caught up with your latest video.
Well, a little bit on the European cruises too, because you guys were all I was announcing, because that's all there was to announce, right? Is
at the time,
good stuff at Princess. Like your cruise was canceled to Norway. As far as MSC not requiring vaccines yet, we'll see in 2 weeks, right? As we were mentioning, it's possible. But some good news. Kids may be allowed to cruise. So what's happening in North America, we have the Celebrity Millennium. We'll be sailing out of St. Martin starting on, I think it's June 5th of this year. That's going to be its home port. And just before coming online, Royal Caribbean announced Adventure of the Seas is going to be sailing out of Nassau. So there's two ships. Both of them require vaccines, but kids are allowed to sail if they get tested.
Okay, cool.
So that might be what they take over in the UK as well. So, but I've been preaching to cruise lines here in the United States, go someplace else if you can't go here, right? Get where you're allowed. Bahamas has been saying all along, we'll take you. Cozumel has been saying, we'll take you. St. Martin, that was a surprise. That one was a surprise. I think they're going, we'll set one ship up here, we'll set one ship up there, we'll set up another ship over here, and within the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a lot of that. So great news. Like, it's good going into a Friday instead of saying it's cancellation day.
It is so good. I don't know if I had considered that as an option for celebrity as well. I wasn't really looking for celebrity to say anything, and they came out with this, which is really cool. We have got in the house cruise royalty. We've got Sherry from Cruise Tips TV, and we have Tony in here as well. So everybody's come out today to watch us, which is cool. We have a couple of super chats. Thank you so much, you guys, for your super chats. Appreciate that. They're not coming up on the screen. I'm trying my best. I have seen them, and I am clicking on them, but they are gone. If you do want to ask me or Don a question, if you can start it with question in capital letters, that makes it so much easier for me, because everything is just hopping up and down on the screen. And I appreciate all your comments, but I am really sorry if I do miss anything. Sherry says that we're two of her favorite people, which is very nice. Sherry, you're one of my favorite people too.
Sherry and I have been friends a long time. I've sent her messages before. She sent me messages, and she knows I watch her all the time. So. Oh,
me too. I think that's. How long have you been on YouTube, Don? I feel like you and Sherry were the people that I started with. Then I learned about Tony, and then.
I've only been on, I think, under 4 years.
Okay.
In reality. It seems like forever.
It really does.
I seem like the old man now on cruising, but with all the younger guys coming up, like Jay with Ship Life and
I love
Chris Wong vlogs and stuff like that. So
there's so many people. I think for me, I had a YouTube channel 4 years ago, but it was very much look at this cool thing that I took a video from an elevator on Independence of the Seas, that kind of thing. And I was watching YouTube then, but I wasn't really putting anything on there. We have got a super chat from Francisco. Thank you, Francisco. He says he is tearing out the master bathtub. That sounds like fun. I know my mum and dad are in here and they're having dinner while they're watching, which is cool. It terrifies me that people watch this on their TV and they can see my face much bigger than it is in real life.
Well, I didn't get that one, because I was reading that and he says, I'm tearing out my bathtub. And my wife did he say my wife wanted a new bathroom? And I said no. And I think I won the argument. I don't think you did. I don't think you know what means winning.
It really doesn't. We have a question from Rich, and he says, Don, are you planning to come to the UK anytime soon?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm actually looking. I met with some representatives of Hall of America yesterday. They reached out to me because we have a new business development manager for Eastern Canada. And she's been following my videos. So she reached out. She wanted to say hi. And she talked to me about a 150th anniversary on the Rotterdam transatlantic next year. So now I'm looking, I want to sail in the UK for a little while, maybe do a couple river cruises while I'm there, and then jump over the Netherlands and take that cruise back. So as you can tell, I've missed cruising. I am ready to go for like a month, 2 months at a time. I'm ready.
That sounds so good. I've never done a transatlantic, but I really fancy a proper Cunard transatlantic. I feel like that's the way I'd want to do it. But maybe I would do Cunard one way, do something, and then take a Royal Caribbean back or something, just so I had that complete.
Have you sailed on Cunard yet?
I have. I did a week on the Queen Victoria, and that's why I started my website and my YouTube channel, because I sat there and I was like, what is this? This is not what I expected. I'd only cruised with MSC and Norwegian before, so I thought cruising would be, I was used to very flexible and no dress codes, and you go on a Cunard cruise, it's ship-wide dress codes after 6 p.m, ballroom dancing, afternoon tea. And I thought, there's people out there that think that this is what cruising is completely. They think that it's just this Cunard experience. So that's where I started. But yeah, I'd love to do it again. We have got a super chat for Dreamies from Dylan. So Hudson, I'm going to get you some Dreamies. He says, thank you. That's what that was.
Don't jinx it. Hudson's still in the picture.
I know. It's amazing. I haven't even given him any Dreamies today. Very, very strange.
He's hearing you say it, and he's not looking away.
He knows what the word is, I think. He's a happy little thing though. He's fine. Oh my goodness, we have so many questions. How do I even pick which one to do? This one seems like something you'll know about, Don. For an Alaska cruise, which is best? From Seattle or Canada, and port or starboard for a balcony?
If you sail from Seattle, it doesn't really matter which side of the ship you are on, because they tend to go one place, continue further north, and then come back south. So you get kind of both sides. When you leave from Canada, you want to be facing the right-hand side of the ship, right? You want to be starboard. It's definitely from Canada. I prefer Canada because you get the inside passage on most cruise ships, leaving right out of Vancouver. You leave under the Vancouver Bridge. It's a nice way to start off. You're into nature 10 seconds after you leave Vancouver.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds amazing. And this idea of, I wouldn't have crossed my mind. I would be the person who's completely booked the wrong side of the ship for that cruise, because I don't know. I hadn't crossed my mind on that one. That's pretty cool.
As an example, I did my last cruise to Alaska. I did both ways. I did a return for 14 days. And on the way back, we were about, I'd say, a half a day out of Vancouver. The sun was just setting. The mountains were off in the distance. And from inside my cabin, I heard, and I run outside, and we're passing this huge pod of about 50 whales.
Wow.
And it's like an orange glow with the sunset, and the mountains and the whales. The balconies were just full everywhere around it, and of all of us just staring out. It lasted like 15 minutes. That's how large the pods were of whales. I'll never forget that.
Sounds amazing. I have been to Alaska, but I was 11 years old, and I don't think at 11 I really appreciated Alaska. I was more interested in the pizza and the cookies in the buffet and being able to run around the ship than the Alaska.
You would love Alaska. And
also, I look back now, and there's maybe 20 photos or something from that cruise. And if I went on that cruise now, I'd come back with like 20,000 and who knows how many hours of footage. But it started my love of cruising, so got to be something good with it.
You started off a bit as a blogger, right? And you take a lot of pictures. I'm the exact opposite. I go on like a 40-day cruise, and I'll come back with 7 photos.
Oh, really?
But I have miles of videos, but never any photos. So yeah, my Instagram stories is lacking.
Mine's, I mean, when I go on a cruise and I look at my photos, I've got 2 photos of everything, one horizontal and one landscape, one for the blog posts and one for the Instagram stories. And it's too much. I need to go through them and get rid of stuff, but I don't want to, so I'm not going to. We have a good question about test cruises. You'll know about this one. Do you think the CDC will let test cruises begin soon as the other ports are opening up?
I actually think we may end up, I think I have a video actually coming out tomorrow. I think I had it coming out today till all the breaking news today.
Yeah.
I think they're going to start changing because the President of the United States has now started to talk about lifting travel restrictions in May to coincide with the UK opening up in May as well. So if they start using travel restrictions for the borders in in Canada and Mexico and Brazil, the UK, the European Union, then why can we not have local cruises, right? So you may not even see test cruises. They may just let that go and say vaccinate it. And then completely get rid of the testing altogether.
I feel like they have tested it by now. Do you not think?
I think that's all they're waiting for now is just United States is going over 35 out of every 100 people have been vaccinated today.
Yeah.
So I think they're waiting for 50%, and that will be before May. So that's what I honestly think they're waiting for. I don't think we're going to see test cruises. I think we're going to see cruises before we see test cruises.
I think so too. Whenever I see when all the cruise lines came out with their procedures, and they were just the same as everyone else's. And cruise lines like MSC have been cruising since last July. Yeah. I feel like they have tested it. As long as they can do the same stuff, which they've proven they can, Royal Caribbean cruising and various other cruise lines, I feel like we're ready.
A perfect example. Look at MSC Grandioso sailing in Italy. Italy's on a big spike right now. But there's still no spread of any virus from the cruise ship. 100,000 passengers.
Yeah.
They've proven we can do it. I mean,
yeah, same over in Germany. Morgan's just got off a cruise.
Yeah.
Very, very envious of him.
He almost missed it.
Oh, he's so dramatic. I love Morgan, but stuff seems to happen to him. Like he's a magnet for all kind of drama happening. But he did get there, didn't he? And it did look so good. He's been sharing pictures of all the food and everybody by the pool, and it feels like a long time. When was your last cruise? Did you manage to get one in right before all of this stuff happened?
We were on a cruise. I was on a cruise. It was Tony and Jenny. I was with them. It was their anniversary. We were on the Divina, I believe. And that the other MSC ship had to turn around because they had COVID on board, and they were heading to shore. And we were just looking at each other, going, "All right." And we had no restrictions. We were going in and out of port, no problems. But that was my last cruise, February of last year. So over a year. I haven't gone a year without cruising, even when I got diagnosed with cancer and had surgeries. I was cruising that year. So yeah, this is driving me nuts, to be honest.
It's strange. You did well to get one in right at the end, though. I didn't cruise in 2020 at all because I had the plan of, I had a really good year planned, but it was like, oh, I'm just going to work through the first 3 months, save up my annual leave, and then take it later. And I literally did the first 3 months of just solid working, and then everything shut down. But mine, no, I didn't get one. But I remember you being on that cruise because I just got off of Scarlet Lady. I remember talking to Tony about it. So
I really appreciate that, Vita, because I laughed because I watch you and I watch Ben and David, and there couldn't have been more polar opposite views of that ship. But I kind of signed it with yours because I agree. A lot of the stuff looks weird and not traditional, but it might be perfect for like them, right? The younger millennials or not millennials anymore. But I mean, like when I see Ben and David, I think they're like the Instagram people, right? They like the flashy walls and everything. And I'm going,
trendy stuff. Yeah.
I'm more that guy who just wants to sit on my balcony and have a comfortable bed. So
I'm definitely, I definitely think I have older tastes than how old I actually am. But all I wanted was real people to get on that ship and just see how they like it. And that was pretty much the event I went to was pretty much the last thing that happened for that ship.
Yeah.
And I remember they cancelled the press thing in New York for coronavirus, which was at the time I was like, why are they cancelling it? Like so silly. And then look what happened.
We'll be back sailing in a few days.
Yeah, honestly. I remember there was initially like 60 or 90 days or something that they did the pause for, and I thought, oh, fair enough, that makes sense. It's a bit annoying, but it'll be fine. I made a video about, there was a family quarantined, 4 people in an inside cabin. I made a video about them. And the video, I can't watch the video now because it's just too awkward because I say things like, oh, at least it's really far away. Like, I'm so glad I don't have to worry about this. But hindsight.
I'm glad I didn't predict much back then. I just kind of went with the flow. I don't know what I thought back then, but I didn't think this. But nobody thought this. I mean, last summer I booked a cruise for this January thinking, there's no chance that this January we're not going to be cruising again. Oh, yeah.
It didn't even cross my mind. Oh, Hudson's off. To be fair, we've kept him for 19 minutes, which I think is pretty good going. So I'll let him get off. He's probably going to find his dinner. It is about dinner time, and I have moved his dinner upstairs, so he's just looking at the space, but he can find it. My house isn't so big. He knows where it is.
I know how nervous you get when you see how many people are watching you on the TVs and everything. Don't look now, but you're around 440 people watching you today.
See, I have like a comfort level of about 250 to 300. I kind of got that into my mind. But 455 people, that's enough for like
It's scary. It's scary.
It's like a small ship, isn't it? If we carry on, we've got enough to fill a Viking ship, which would be awesome. Get to around 900. I'm really wanting to cruise with Viking again, but that's not in my budget. But they're not requiring vaccines either because they have their own testing. You say yet?
I do. I do.
When they change it, I'm going to be like, Don told me they were going to change it. But they do have their own lab on board, don't they, to do their COVID tests every day. So maybe it's pretty impressive. If I think about going out on land, if I go to the shop, I don't know that everybody there has had a negative coronavirus test ever, let alone in the last day. So I'm thinking about it like that.
Yeah.
We have got many, many questions. Thank you to the people who put question at the front, like Lou, who says, Don said at some point he has 16 cruises cancelled.
Yep.
How?
Actually, 16, 17, 18, if you count my 2 group cruises that were canceled this year.
Have you been just moving on and on and on?
Well, I would push it 3 months and then push it 3 months, and it gets canceled. Because I pay for my airfare, I'm landlocked here in Ottawa, right? There's no ocean nearby. So when I cruise and travel, I usually try and do 3 or 4 back to back, so I don't pay flights all the time. So it's easy to get 16 cruises when you book 4 together, kind of thing.
And then keep I've had a few cancelled, but I've pretty much just pushed them all a year in advance rather than 3 months in advance. So I haven't had to move the same one more than once.
See, I started doing I moved the group cruises for a full year each time.
I think that's.
But my individual ones, I was soaking in those future cruise credits and bonuses. So the first time they'd give you the bonus, then they'd say, well, you did it before. We'll give you an extra $100 in onboard credits for this time around. Well, I have a bunch of those now. So I'm pretty set for my next cruises with Royal Caribbean, Princess, Norwegian. So
it's going to be so good. I don't think it can imagine. I can imagine it anymore. I know it's only been a year. It feels like a very long year, to be fair. We have a question that says, why don't all the cruise lines just copy MSC to be able to cruise again, as they have proved that they can be successful? I think they are, really.
They absolutely are. Exactly the same procedures, almost, step by step. It's the CDC in North America that won't let it happen. It
is annoying that that America can't do the type of cruises that we're planning on doing, that just float around and come back home, because that would
look at here in Canada. We panicked so much we closed cruising for another year. We didn't just postpone it 6 months. A year, everybody. Why? Because our vaccines aren't going well.
Yeah,
and that's why. So.
When I heard this news, I don't know. I tend to think more about the Alaska side and the Canada-Alaska. Yeah. So I was thinking, that season's really short anyway. So them cancelling for the year isn't so bad. But then I thought there's a lot of other cruises that is also cancelled in the second half of the year. Yeah. So I didn't really appreciate that. But you can just leave Canada, I suppose, to cruise.
You can, but if you come back, you got to quarantine in a hotel for 3 days that you have to pay for. For I think it's $2,000 a person for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then you have to go home and quarantine for the remaining of the 14 days. So you better plan your cruise or just stay away.
Yeah.
For a long time. So
I can't imagine just the time off work and planning. People having that just makes it almost impossible for a lot of people, I guess.
See, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because you can cruise when you want.
I can't.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. I've had the most productive couple of weeks, which proves to me that I can be productive during the hours of 9 and 5. It was that wasn't the problem. I've always thought to myself, I'm so much more productive in the evenings. It turns out it's the type of work I was doing, and I've got so much done it's been brilliant because when stuff happens, I mean, I'm never gonna try and you break the cruise news incredibly fast and you do it incredibly well, and I have no intentions of I can't. But it's nice to be able to put out a YouTube short or put something on my Instagram story that says the MSC cruise ship is on fire. When that happened, I could just tell people at 2:30 in the afternoon. Normally I'd have to wait till 5 p.m. and by that time the fire's out. So yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. But yeah, when it comes to cruises, I'm going to be able to book last minute cruises, and yeah, no one's going to be able to tell me when I can't go, which is going to be so just bizarre to me. I think it's going to be a good year. A lot's going on here anyway. Thank you, John, for my super sticker. John is one of my Patreons, who my Patreons they've nicknamed him King Spud because he leaves potato-related comments and he started all of that stuff. So this is King Spud. We've got him there.
Hey, John, cheers.
KV in the UK says, Don, do the CDC restrictions apply in Canada too?
They do not. However, we kind of copy them, almost identical. For us, it's the Transportation Commission, and they basically just exactly copy them word for word almost every time. So that's why when I talk about the CDC and I say North America. Because as the CDC goes, so does Canada.
I suppose so. It is what it is, really, isn't it? It's not much we can do or say about it. But I'm glad here at least we're making a bit of progress. I'm excited. Oh
yeah, you guys are I think there's a total of 7 lines now getting ready for cruising.
Yeah.
So wow.
I'm interested to see how the demand matches up with the offerings. The prices of the cruises that have come out so far have been okay. None of them have been particularly cheap, I don't think, because I'm always on the budget end of cruising. And it'll be interesting to me to see if they sell out all of those cruises or
well, they only have to sell out half the ship now, right? Right now.
That is true. That is a good point. But we will wait and see. Thank you to Justin for my super sticker or super chat, whatever that is. Thank you, Justin. Jackie says, have FCO given us their blessing to sail after May, Emma? Yes. In the UK, we are allowed to sail, I think it's May 17th.
Yeah.
No cruise lines are saying that they're starting that exact day. MSC is starting the earliest at the moment. They're saying in the end of May. And then Princess and P&O are coming in later. Same with Viking, and Cunard haven't announced yet, but they're also going to do the same thing. I'm sure it will be the same as P&O and Princess. But yes, in theory, we're free to cruise in May, which isn't that far away. No. I tend to think it is, but it's really not. We have a question for Emma. What is the Carnival equivalent in the UK? We don't really have one. I mean, we do have Carnival sometimes over in Europe, very rarely. We have Costa in Italy, which is the Italian Carnival, but we don't really have a Carnival in the UK. Maybe you could say Marella might be the Carnival equivalent, as it's more for younger people and families, and they do, it's all inclusive, but it's not really expensive. But we don't really have one. I want Carnival to come here more. I've never cruised with Carnival. I tried. I booked a Carnival cruise. I picked 2020 for that cruise, and it was cancelled. So I'm still trying to cruise with Carnival at some point. Jeremy says, is Emma and or Don going to join the Vloggers Extravaganza cruise in January 2023?
You first.
I have no plans to, because
you weren't asked? Is that
No, I was invited. It's far away. And I have no idea what I'm going to be doing in 2023. I don't plan that far in advance. If I'm able to, if I have the money and can get there, then yes. But who knows? I don't know.
I'm kind of the same way. I've been looking at doing a world tour segment that I was hoping to do in 2023. So I don't know if I'd be doing it January or later. But I'd like to go on like a 50-day cruise, 56-day cruise, something along that line, and just film and report live every day. I think that would be amazing. I'd have a great time. So I'm still looking into that, looking for the best deal that I can possibly get.
Are you looking at any specific cruise line or just?
I was looking at a few. Holland America. I was looking at Princess Cruise Line on the island of Princess. So there's a few. I might reach out to the cruise lines and sales and say, I'll book my cabin and everything. Can I at least get free internet for 50 days?
Can you imagine if they didn't give you free internet, you would be a walking, talking advert for months for the cruise line. Like, I really hope that they would at least do that. And some drinks or something. It's
funny when you mentioned Cunard, because Cunard, for me, my transatlantic was the most expensive internet I've ever had, because they don't have all like unlimited internet for the week like you can get on Royal Caribbean and Princess, and that you pay by the minute.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to upload on those ships a video, it can take 4 hours to upload the video on the internet. And so my bill was like $900 at the end of the week for internet. And I'm going, like that's almost the cost of my cruise. So
that makes me feel quite unwell.
Yeah, they need to update. Although most people aren't on the internet when you're doing a transatlantic, but that's my job, so I have to be.
Yeah, true. I'm not surprised. When I took my Cunard cruise, they had a leaflet about the internet, and it said, don't forget to turn your phone into vibrator mode instead of vibrating mode, and it said vibrator, and it just made me laugh. So I don't think that they're the most like their technology isn't their selling point, is it, for a Cunard cruise? But I would have thought that they'd have something other than by the time, because that's really stressful.
By the minute, yeah.
Yeah. Justin says, do you think NCL are going to start in the Mediterranean before American cruises? Maybe.
They may be looking, they maybe in the United States itself, but maybe the Caribbean, they might get there, just like Royal Caribbean just announced too. So I think a lot of the cruise lines are trying to arrange that right now. Norwegian, they just repatriated all their staff they had on the ships here in North America. So I mean, now they got to get them all back. So it's not good for them right now. So it's really up in the air within it and NCL.
Yeah, I'm not confident to say either way on that question. I don't think we know. I genuinely just, it's so much of this is, this will happen when this global pandemic gets better. I'm like, I have no idea when.
Yeah,
that's so far.
They may be able to do it with the Encore, but I'm thinking they're hoping they can sail that ship in North America soon.
I mean, that would be so good. I really hope so.
Fingers crossed. That's all we can do.
Yeah, a question that's close to my heart. Last year I booked Iona's 4th cruise. It was £749, and this year the 7-night cruise to nowhere is £1,119. Why the hike? Yeah, I've seen this quite a lot, which is one of the reasons why, instead of cancelling my cruises, I've shifted them a year in advance, because the price saving is just so much better. I'm not sure if the prices will come down closer to the time. It is what it is for these cruises, because there's not many of them. People will pay the prices for the cruises to nowhere, and we'll have to just wait and see, I think.
Also, last year we didn't know when we would be cruising. Now they're saying the Iona is going to be sailing, so that's a big difference. Also, wasn't that 11.19 price? Wasn't that like the inaugural sailing? That might be why, right? They're sailing to Scotland for a special cruise.
Yes.
Is it all that price from now on? I think it's only that one.
Yeah, I think that's the price of the maiden, and then the weeks afterwards is something closer to the 700. I think it's still higher than what we would have paid before for most cruises.
Oh, get used to it. Get used to it.
It kind of is what it is. The maiden, I think, is an interesting one, because it's sailing to Iona to look at the island of Iona. But I don't know. It would be really strange for them to do that.
Normally it's only smaller ships that head in anywhere near that direction, right? So the Iona is their largest. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So
Danny says, what is the best experience and worst experience in a port? That is a very wide open question. I don't know. I've been to many ports. Worst experiences in ports. I mean, the ports that I don't like are the ones where they're industrial ports and you're 2 hours from the place. Most of the big ones in Europe, they really annoy me when it says, oh, you're going to dock in Paris, the one that's Paris. It was genuinely cheaper for me to come home and get the train to Paris than to go on the excursion, and that's what I did. So I don't really like those ports. Best ports, for me, I like the ports where I can get off, do my own thing, take a train, go to see something I want to see, and just do something on my own. That's what I like doing in ports. But yeah, that's a very wide open question. I feel like I could have hours on just that topic. Anything stick in your mind?
I remember when I was on the Millennium and sailing to Japan. They do it 3 times a year, and it happened to be us in port that day, where they had like 300 young schoolgirls in their uniforms and everything. We're all out, and they were dancing and singing to the cruise passengers from the dock as we got ready to leave. Like they were all in sync and just having a good time and shouting, and they do it 3 times a year. So I thought, yeah, I saw him jump.
Hudson just jumped over this chair, which is very impressive. What are you doing?
Yeah. So that was a great experience. Like, I love it when it's like just natural. I think Tony might have been with me on the second cruise. We were off on one of our excursions, and we were in Japan again. And we're going into this. It's a national holiday that day in Japan, so all the school children were coming to the same tourist attractions we were. Okay, so there were school loads and school loads of buses, and all these little 6 and 7-year-old Japanese kids were getting off their school buses and everything, and they're all in that uniform with the hat and all. They look so cute. But they looked over to their left and saw us, and we're like 45 North Americans getting off a bus. And they just stopped what they were doing, turned to us, and started going, hi, like this. Like every one of them just stopped what they were doing to yell at us. And the teachers were trying to get them to go to keep going again, and they just stopped. We were so happy to see us and wanted to say hi. And I said, "Wow, that's so amazing!" Like the difference in culture sometimes, and people say when you travel to different places, they look at you different. Maybe they look at you even better than you think they're going to look at you. So
you wouldn't get that if you were just here. Or we had that in Japan. They would have like preschool kids, really little kids, and the teacher would be dragging them in like a little, I don't even know, rope them in a little car, and they were all wearing the same. It was really sweet.
You get that all over the place in Japan. They're all wearing it. That worst one. I remember pulling into a port. I think it was at the time it was St. Thomas, and somebody was burning like a dump fire. And the wind blew it right to the cruise ships. Ugh. So the entire time we were in port, we smelled burning garbage the whole time we were in port. And I picked that day not to do a shore excursion.
I mean, that's a phrase, isn't it? Dumpster fire. You had a literal dumpster fire.
Literally, yeah. That was probably one of my worst ones I've ever had in a cruise port itself.
That does. Yeah, literal dumpster fire. I feel like that's not.
That'll do it. Oh, by the way, 525.
I know. I keep seeing people in the comments saying how many people there are here.
I'm just trying to get you nervous. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. It's fine because I know everyone. No, I don't know everybody, but everyone seems very nice, and I have moderators in here who will keep anybody mean away from me. So we're all very, very good in here. Marcus says, let's make it 300 likes to honor Don. And Emma, remember to recommend your Patreon. Thank you, Marcus. Marcus is one of my Patreons. I do a weekly podcast in Patreon for people who want to support me. And in there, I share all the kind of behind the scenes stuff. Like, I really want Don to come on my live stream. I'm going to try and get him on here, stuff like that. So it's a nice place to be in there. And thank you, Marcus, for reminding me to recommend my Patreon. 525 people in there, says Jeremy. Oh, crazy. Oh, Dylan says he had a similar experience with sewage.
Yeah.
That seems awful. That doesn't sound good. Jim says Emma and Don should have these videos often. I feel like I've got around the cruise community with these live streams, and it's been amazing. I've had Don, I've had Sherry, I've had Bruce, I've had Morgan, and it's been really nice to talk to people at the same time, because you probably watched, well, I'm not assuming you watched any of my videos, but maybe.
I watch everybody when I can. I try and watch everybody.
But I've seen you speak and you've seen me speak, and to see it reacting to yourself speaking, that's really fun. I love doing these live streams, so I'm not going to stop doing them. I'm trying to, I tend to just rotate around, and we'll catch up again in 6 months or something and see how different things are. I did that with Morgan because we spoke about 6 months ago and he was heading off on a cruise, and then we spoke again and he was heading off on a cruise again, and I'm still sat here like, yeah, we're still waiting in the UK. But at least now we have something.
A little bit of good news anyway.
A little bit. I will take anything right now. We've got more than we had a couple of weeks ago, and I think that's fabulous. What is the best advice you have been given for cruising?
I would say roll with the punches.
Yep. Don't
let the little things bother you on a cruise, because there's little things always pop up. I get a kick when I'll go to Disney quite often. I'll go to Disney World in Florida, and I see people just melt down because something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get into that restaurant right now. What do you mean my table's not ready? I'm going to miss my fast pass to this. And they get so into it, because you have to plan your vacation every second of every day almost. It's not like the old days when you just got in line, got on a ride. It's too big now. But if you can just relax on the cruise. Oh, something happened today. No big deal. It's fine. Just let it roll. You'll have such more relaxing time when you come back. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think sometimes some of the best things are things that you didn't mean to do. For me, I'll, not accidentally go to a show, but like I didn't plan on going to the show and I go to it and it's brilliant. Or I, wanted to eat here, tried something I didn't think I'd like and loved it. So I think that's great. You're not at work, you're on a cruise. At the end of the day, just have a good time, I think. For me, best advice been given when cruising. For me, I think it's to not be loyal to any cruise line, to try everything once. I've never found a cruise line that I didn't like, and I've tried. Never paid for a cruise on a cruise line that I did not enjoy. And I've cruised with Viking down to Costa Cruises at kind of less than $50 per night. So I always see people who stick with one cruise line religiously, and I think there's so much more out there. You could get a better deal on a different cruise line. Just try it. You don't have to do it again. If you hate it, I totally understand. There's some cruise lines that some people just will not ever like, and that's fine. But try everything once. Elizabeth has good advice. She says, just be patient. Yes, just be polite. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah. Just say please and thank you. It's so frustrating. I think we've all seen people on cruises where I saw this man have a complete breakdown because he was with, I assume, his wife, and she had ordered a starter for a main. Instead of a main, she ordered a starter for a main, and they bought it out before his main, and he had an absolute meltdown. She was on the floor like comforting him, and they were so rude. It was a salad. It wasn't even something that would, it doesn't matter. But I often could despair at certain people on cruises. So just be polite. Have respect for the hardworking staff. Yes, I think that's it. It's not hard. Good manners cost nothing, as my mum would say. Exactly. I'm sure mum was watching and saying that. But just makes it nicer for everybody. There's just no need for it. So yeah, just go and have a good time. Try everything and say please and thank you. That's me and Don's advice, I think, for any cruises.
Yeah, and even when you're upset, be polite.
Yeah, because
get more out of it.
Yeah, and it's whoever you're complaining to, I doubt it's them who's caused your problem the majority of the time. You see people at the reception desk saying this and that, and they had nothing to do with it. They've been working there at reception the whole time. So, yeah, be nice. We have a request for a specific cruise story. Burst water pipe in Broome. Can you tell that story?
I knew people are going to say that.
Yeah.
I did a video a long time ago about my best cruise experience. I booked an inside cabin cruise on one of the large Royal Caribbean ships.
Yay.
And I got there and they said, "Oh, there's a problem with your room, sir." I said, "Uh-oh." What is it? Well, it is, we had a pipe burst and your entire cabin is flooded. I said, "Okay, where are you going to put me?" The only cabin left was a Royal Suite. The only cabin left on the cruise ship. So not only did I get a Royal Suite for a week instead of an inside cabin, they didn't just bump me up little, they bumped me up. Because it literally apparently happened like 70 minutes or so before I was showing up for the cruise. Yeah. Otherwise, they would have went to another person and moved them, another person and until they got to me, right? Yeah. But no, they put me into that cabin. They gave me all the benefits of the suite class at the same time. And I made so many friends on that cruise, telling them that story that I'm in this suite and everything. They saw me in the casino on that same cruise, and I said, "Well, you know what the heck? I'm having such a good week." And I said, I'm gonna bet this money, and if I win, I'll take everyone out to dinner. I won on that roll, and it's like odds 52 to 1. I won like $5,000, and so I took everyone to dinner that was surrounding me at the table. Like, it was such an amazing trip. Anything that could go right went right.
Oh, that's so nice. So
never happened since. Never will happen again. They had no it's like some people were saying at one point, Don gets all these perks because he's a YouTuber and all this and all. And that, don't you remember that story he said when he got bumped up? Well, not a normal person wouldn't have got that. I'm a normal person. I got that by luck. Nothing else, because they have no idea who I am.
That's amazing.
Right? So yeah, it was an amazing cruise. Like just flabbergasted. Yeah.
Oh God, I would love that. I can't. I'm always in my inside cabin, and if I got upgraded to a window or a balcony, I'll be over the moon.
It's like when I go on NCL. You can bid on those cabins.
Oh yeah.
I've never won. Ever even come close to winning. I'm too cheap. So
yeah. No, you're so lucky. That sounds brilliant. But then ever since, now you know what it's like to cruise in a suite.
Oh yeah. I've never sailed in a suite since, ever. So yeah. And that's well before I ever started YouTube. Well before. So
Tom says, "Did you take everyone to dinner in the main dining room?" Lol.
I wish that would have been the case.
That would have been. Yeah. Jack has a very sensible question. I think we need to answer this. Are there cruise lines making travel insurance? P&O have said, yes, you have to have at least 2 million of cover, I believe, for P&O. I'm not sure if other ones are. Maybe Don, you know other ones, but P&O definitely, and I would expect all of them to. Don't consider cruising without travel insurance. Just don't do it.
Before the pandemic, you got to have travel insurance, because if anything happens and you need to get evacuated, it can bankrupt you.
Yeah.
Literally, you can lose your home from how much that can cost.
Yeah.
So, like, if people travel in Canada, we'll drive someplace and we'll head up north to some remote distance. Mm-hmm. People break their leg hiking up north. They'll have to helicopter them to a hospital. People say, "Oh, Canada, it's free healthcare and everything." Yeah, only once you get to the hospital. That helicopter ride was $21,000, and you owe that $21,000. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh.
So I don't only have travel insurance for when I travel. I have travel insurance anywhere I go.
Oh.
And I pay it for the year. So
that I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I did.
A lot of people don't.
I did, just to be nosy, when all the P&O cruises came out, I did a quote to see how much it would cost me to get travel insurance for 7 days. And it was £35, which I know I'm young, and I have no health problems, so that's as low as it's going to get. But £35 is well worth it compared to who even knows what. Please, if you're watching this, get travel insurance. Like, just, I've said that for years and years and years, but now more than ever. Even if you're from Britain and you're taking a British Isles cruise, it doesn't matter. When I did a British Isles cruise, I did one with Princess. We had someone who had to be taken off due to medical reasons. They didn't dock the ship. And I imagine that will get expensive for them. So it doesn't matter. Get travel insurance. On MSC, apparently, they're making people get it too. Good. I wish that they just would. I think it will
just be included in the price, but they won't, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Then the price looks high. So
if I had my way, we'd have gratuities in the price. We would have just everything I have to pay in the price. Because if I have to pay it, just put it in the price. It's different over here.
I gotta go this way. Somebody's asking how Suitcase is doing. Suitcase is in the video.
We've got you and your suitcase. I had Hudson. I think we've seen everything on this live stream, which is good. Dylan says, Emma, do you have squash, tea, or wine? I have got tea in here in my Princess cup. I saw a friend earlier who dropped off presents because I left my day job recently, and she gave me some leaving presents. And in there was a big thing of tea bags and various things that I used to eat at work. And turns out I only had 7 tea bags left, so I don't know how she knew that, but I'm happy about that. So yeah, I've got a peppermint tea here at the moment. Can't beat it. In my Princess cup, I don't know where this came from, but I do have it. Lots of people just saying, yes, travel insurance. Yes, travel insurance. I remember hearing a story about a man who was taking a Caribbean cruise, who was cruising with Carnival. He had a stroke, and he was taken off somewhere in the Caribbean. I can't remember where it was. But because he didn't have travel insurance, he couldn't get back to the US to get the healthcare that he needed. They didn't know how to do it, and he died. So get travel insurance, please, everybody. Linda says, is travel insurance what they offer you when you book or something above? A lot of cruise lines will offer travel insurance, yes, but you don't have to book it through the cruise line. You can just book it on your own. I don't tend to book it through the cruise line because I will have an annual policy normally. But I think more and more the cruise lines are going to offer travel insurance if they're making it a rule anyway. It just makes it easier.
It's probably the easiest way to book your insurance, right?
Yeah.
Just include it in the price of your cruise, add the gratuities, and then it's a one price deal.
Yeah,
but you can find cheaper insurance, definitely, but the convenience is also something a lot of people like. Agreed.
We have a question that says, have you moved your table back, or are you still expecting your YouTube awards to fall?
It's still holding.
It is.
The table is in front of my TV, not under the picture.
That's good.
So far, so good. It hasn't fallen yet. I got so lucky. Because I could have lost not only my YouTube plaque, my picture, the glass table, and it could have damaged the hardwood floors as well. And so nothing was wrong, like no problem. That could have been a $2,000 mistake.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. I'm sure everybody watching this is subscribed to your channel, Don, but Don did just pass 100,000 subscribers, which, can you imagine 100,000 people? It's completely, that's a full fleet of cruise ships fully stocked.
Never even dreamed of it when I started this. Never even dreamed of it.
Crazy, crazy. I mean, very, very well deserved. I don't even know how you get the videos out as fast as you do when some news breaks. But if someone sends me a link that kind of doesn't really give me any information or something, I'm like, I'll just go to Don, go to Tony, and find out. They've done the research for me, put everything together, and it's so much easier. But you put out video every single day on something.
I'm literally on cruise ship news. Last 24 hours is how I put it on Google. And I'm on that like 12 times a day looking for them. That's how I found out Royal Caribbean with the Adventure of the Seas. It's like, I didn't see a feed or anything, just searching. And that comes up. So, all right, boom, out. That it's getting hard though, because once the cruise news started kind of thing with the pandemic and all that, I went to daily to, to cover it all, because it was happening, and it's hard to get away from that. And then I was dumb, and I decided to start a second channel.
I love your second channel.
But I said, I'm just going to talk once a week. I haven't missed a day.
Yeah,
since
no, I was
starting
going to say.
it. I'm going, yes, yeah. And I just go off. I'll talk about rabbit stuff in the backyard and, anything. It's just, it's kind of my venting channel.
That's the type of thing that I put on if I'm doing the washing up or something, and I just want to have, like, I don't want to be on my own. I just listen to Don talk about
anything, absolutely anything. Yeah.
That's pretty good. But how you have the time, I have no idea. But I'm glad you do, because it's very, very useful for me. Amazingly, we've nearly talked for an hour. Every single week I'm like, how is this the fastest hour of the entire week? But I mean, I think we could never get through all of these questions. There's so many lovely people in the chat. We've got 552 people watching, which is very exciting and very, very scary. Sean has put a link here to Don's channel that you have to check out after this live. Yes, you absolutely do. I'm sure all of you are already subscribed to Don, but just in case some of you are not, definitely do it. And Emma too. Yeah, I have 37,000 subscribers, which I'm very grateful for all 37,000. I can't imagine 37,000 either. I think I can think about things in terms of cruise ship capacity, but in terms of imagining people in a room, I think once I get past about 50, I can't do it. So it's absolutely crazy. Thank you to Lisa, who says that we are two of her favorite cruise vloggers. Some people watch your channel every single day. Must see you, Don, more than their own family. I mean, I haven't seen my family in ages, but I've seen you all the time, which is great. Lou says, great conversation. Thank you for sharing. You are very welcome, Don. It's been very Lou even and Don. Thank you for joining me for this chat. I think I'm going to be here by myself next week, which is okay. It's okay. Ben says, Don's rants are legendary and you must watch. Yes, you must. You must. I recommend the second channel. I recommend the first channel just for why not. Okay, so I think, well, is there anything you want to say in the next 3 minutes, Don?
Well, here, I was glancing at some questions as they went by. Deer or rabbit poo, we still don't know. Would I sail out of Seattle to Alaska? Yes, I would. I was looking the minute Canada was canceled. The only reason I go to Canada, it's cheaper to fly for me and cheaper, and it's direct flights. I don't have to take like 6 to get to Seattle for some reason. Really weird. Do I like Ben and David? Yes, I do. I watch them all the time as well. I watch, there's not too many people in the cruising community that I ever can say that, yeah, I can't watch their stuff or I don't like their stuff. Everybody has their own unique opinion and they present it in their own unique way. And that's great, right? There's so many out there. And
yeah, I think we have a good spread of people across the world, across the scales of cheap cruising.
Oh yeah, cruisers are the best people. Absolutely. They're the most outgoing, friendly people. If you like, picture yourself going to Walt Disney World, sitting down at a restaurant, and they say, here, you're going to sit with these other 6 people. You freak out, right?
I've never been to Disney World, you know.
Yeah. No, you haven't been to Disney World?
Never been to Disney World. I have been to Disney World, if that counts.
All right. When you come to the United States, you can meet up with Tony and I, and we'll bring you to Disney World before a cruise.
I need to. I spent 2020 catching up on all the Disney movies that I never watched on Disney Plus. So I feel like I'm just catching up on stuff now. But it's been the best year for watching films. I've never really been into. I didn't want to be a Disney princess or anything like that. But I mean, I'd definitely go to Disney World.
It's a big kid. I'm a big kid there. I have a ball. I'm that guy hugging Pluto and Goofy. Oh yeah. I'll march behind Darth Vader when he's walking through the Starboard. I'm the kid. I'm just a big kid. I really am. I mean,
life's too short not to. Just have a good time. I think we'll just say that. We'll just end the video on this, everybody. just do silly things and have a good time. And thank you for watching us on this live stream. This has been so much fun. I think me and Don, we could chat
forever,
infinitely.
Yeah.
But I will let everybody get off because I appreciate you giving me an hour of your lives. I will be back the same time next week. The time is a bit strange at the minute because we haven't changed our clocks yet in the UK. So this is maybe a different time for you if you're in the US, and I'm sorry. But the same time as this week, next week, I will be here. And I think we will say goodbye now, everybody. Thank you all, 527 of you. That's truly terrifying, but fabulous. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.